Hello everybody, I'm going to continue with part 3 of night science here, and I'm going to start showing you the constellations, how I draw them, and how they're drawn on most constellation charts that you might look at. And the first one that I want to show you is the so-called Little Dipper that they call. And they call it the so-called Little Dipper. And it's, remember, northward. You got to look northward. Psalm 75:6. Keep that in mind. Exaltation comes from God out of the north. Okay, so I'm going to get up and show you this with my phone camera and try to explain this where you can better understand why I believe what is actually around the North Star. And I'll say it many times, I don't believe in the zodiac. I think that's ridiculous. Okay, so right here we have the so-called Little Dipper right here. And there's 7 stars that make this Little Dipper up. There's 7 stars in it. I believe it's actually the Paleo-Hebrew letter Zion. It's the way God wrote the letter Zion, which is also the Hebrew number 7, which goes right along with the 7 stars that are in it. And I believe this is a sword. This right here would be the handguard of the sword, and it curves upward to the tip of the sword, which will be the North Star. So during the night, you're not going to notice this North Star moving one way or the other. Over a period of time, you will. Of course, this circles this direction around the North Star as the Earth is rotating and as we're looking at it. Now, this constellation is very dim, and, you know, it's best seen in a dark skies area. Like I said, I'm from West Texas. Kermit, Texas, and it's certainly, you can see it out there. Some great stargazing. Get a chance to go to the McDonald Observatory over there close to Fort Davis. I advise you to go. You'll enjoy it. Okay, now here's the way you might see it on a star chart or constellation chart. This is called Draco. This is kind of supposed to be like a tail of a dragon, and it's going down here and it's going over here, and it's going to encircle this Ursa Minor, Little Bear or Little Dipper. Draco the dragon. You can kind of see how that's going to look. Okay, so now I'm going to combine the way Draco the dragon should be drawn. I'm going to leave some of it out and add some to it, along with the so-called Little Dipper, which I believe is a sword, which is actually drawn as God intended it. This right here is the letter Hey. It's a pictograph of a man, forget the sword right now, of a man standing with his arms lifted up, wanting you to behold. Of course, here he's wanting you to behold the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God coming out of his mouth. This is Revelation 1:16 in our night sky. See the handguard of the sword right there? This little square? That's the handguard. And it's coming out of his mouth, curving and stopping with the tip of the sword at the North Star. The letter Hey. These 3 stars right here are normally, they try to connect it to the cup of the so-called Big Dipper. And, of course, I don't believe that. The cup of the so-called Big Dipper is correct, but there's a star down here, and I'll show you that later, what I think that is. But this is a letter Hey. Behold the sword of the Spirit coming forth out of his mouth. This is representative of Christ, and this letter is also in the word Yahweh. Now, I'm going to show you this one, Yahweh, since I just mentioned it. All right, there's the letter Yud. This is actually the cup of the Big Dipper. But you'll see all this. It'll make sense to you when I get through. So Yahweh, there's the letter Hey, a man lifting his arms up, wanting you to behold. Why is a man in the word Yahweh to begin with? And it's 2 times, which gives it more power. If you double something in Hebrew, it gives it more power. Of course, if you triple it, it gives it the most power. So this is Yahweh. Now, this has a very interesting word picture. And not every single word in Hebrew has a word picture, but this one has one. And since it ends in the letter Hey, it would fit more the way we would say it to read the word picture back this way. Yahweh writes right to left. But if any word, if it has a word picture and it ends in Hey, it just sounds more like we would say it, as we're reading it, going left to right. Otherwise, any other word, if it has a word picture, it reads the same way it's written. Because Hebrew writes right towards left. Of course, English left towards the right. So, behold, the nail. This is the letter Hey, this is the letter Vav. Behold, the nail. Behold, the hand of God. This is a pictograph of the hand of the Lord holding a cup. The Jews looked at the hand from past elbow to the tip of the hand, and he's holding a cup. Psalms 75:8, I believe, says, "For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup." Well, there's a cup of the Big Dipper. And like I said, I'm going to show you all that. So, Yahweh, behold the nail, behold the hand of God. Okay. So the word picture is behold the nail, behold the hand of God. Hey is behold, Vav is the nail. Hey again is behold, and Yod is a hand. So the very scene of the crucifixion of Christ is embedded in the holy name of Yahweh. This is also prophesied about in the book of Psalms. For dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. Psalms 22:16. I wonder why the Jews could never seem to figure this prophecy out along with all the other prophecies about the coming of Christ. But you know what they did? The Jews did? Their scribes altered this. They didn't like this. Psalms 22:16. So those lying Mezorite scribes altered it to say, for dogs have encompassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me, they claw at my hands and feet. They changed it up because they don't like that prophecy because it points to Jesus Christ. That's crazy, but that's what the Jews, they're so desperate to try to disprove that Jesus is actually the real Messiah, and they're very foolishly thinking the real Messiah will come later, which actually he will, but it's Jesus. Okay. Now, this is the constellation Bootes, the herdsman. Now, does that look like a herdsman to you? See, it says the herdsman, Bootes. Does that look like a herdsman to you? I don't think so. But I'm going to use some stars. You can see some dots there of the stars. I don't know if you can see it or not. That are there that I redrew this. And here's what it looks like. This is the letter Resh, which means the highest man, master, or rabbi. It is pointing directly at Christ. He's the highest man. He is Emmanuel, God with us. He came to this earth as a man, and he is the highest man, priest, or rabbi. He's our king. And this is how it should look. Now, Bootes means the coming one. And this star right here, Arcturus, means he cometh. He cometh. So that's the way Bootes should be drawn, not this one. And when this sets and goes down the horizon in the northwest, guess what? The head is setting straight up just like this as it goes below the horizon, just like that. So that's something, it's amazing to see once you realize what you're looking at and you've got it drawn correctly. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, this is an interesting word picture. This is Torah. Torah, teachings or law. Now remember, it writes from the right toward the left. And the word picture is, behold, the highest man, master or rabbi, the nail, and the cross. Torah. In the beginning was a word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. Talking about Jesus Christ. So here's the letter Hey, behold. Here's the letter Resh, the highest man. And this is a conjunction and. You could say, behold, the highest man and the cross. Pointing right to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. These Hebrew word pictures are powerful. If you get a chance, Google Dr. Frank T. Seekins Hebrew word pictures, and I recommend buying his books. Now I'm showing you mine for free because it doesn't matter to me. I don't need the money, whether I sell a book or not. I'm doing fine. I'm retired and I'm doing just fine. Okay, now here's how. Of course, this is just showing. Now this is the Big Dipper, except you notice this is how I drew it. See how it is the letter Yud? For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup. Of course, it goes counterclockwise around this North Star. Now here's the letter, Yod, I think is correct. This is the so-called Big Dipper, cup of the Big Dipper, except those 3 stars that go over here has nothing to do with it. Not one thing to do with it. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup. Psalm 75:8. I think I mentioned that to you. And over here you can see how it is during the seasons. This is the positions. At the top is the spring, to the left is the summer, down at the bottom is fall, and over to the right is winter, as this is making its round every 24 hours in our night sky. Okay, so let's see what else I have here. Okay, I love this one. This is Yah. This is Yah. The far right is the letter Yod, then Hey. And then, of course, I added the sword coming out of his mouth because Jesus Christ is Yah. He's Yah. And out of his mouth cometh the sharp 2-edged sword, which represents the Word of God. When you see Zion as just one alphabetic letter, it's a symbol of not only the number 7, but it's a symbol of the Word of God. And let's see, this here is the letter, or this is Camelopardalis. As you can see, that's the way man draws it. It's actually a tent, and then you just turn it up like that. That's a tent beside a hill. Like I said, this is Camelopardalis, or Pardalis, I think is the way they say it. And it means a house. It's also, as a prefix letter, it means in. And then you have to read whatever is coming after that. So, a giraffe. Notice it says giraffe. That's what Camelopardalis is calling. But it's not a giraffe. It's just not. It's the letter Bet. Okay. So this will be enough for right now, and then I'll do another one later. And we'll just keep working through it. You have a great day.